Think, what would happen if one day all humans suddenly disappeared from the earth? In one day the light would disappear. In a week the cities would be deserted. In a month nature would begin to take over. A year later the earth would be free. And after 100 years, every trace of humans would have disappeared. The earth would then return to its original state, the same land that was once a world of forests, rivers, and animals.
So what would the world be like without humans? Let's try to find out.
What will happen in a few hours? Electric plug power outage. Machines and power plants will run automatically for some time, but they cannot run for long without humans. As soon as they stop, the lights of big cities will go out. Streets, buildings and roads will be plunged into darkness. Elevators will stop, computers will shut down, and the modern world will suddenly become silent. Station trains and metros and trains that are already on the move will suddenly stop because there will be no one to control them. Wherever the train is, it will stop there. Stations will become deserted. Automobile condition of vehicles on the roads, especially those stuck in traffic jams, will be left there without a driver. Some vehicles will become silent forever after the engine is turned off. Planes. At this time, all the planes flying in the sky will be in the most dangerous state. As soon as their fuel runs out, they will crash to the ground due to loss of control. Scenes of fire and explosions will be seen in the sky. Inside the houses, the outside world will be full of darkness and noise, but silence will prevail inside the houses. Pets, cats, dogs, birds, will look for their owners, but they will be nowhere to be found. Animals worried about hunger and thirst will scratch doors, make noises, and finally weaken. Pushpin brief meaning, within a few hours, the world's human civilization will come to a standstill. Power will be out, trains and cars will be jammed, planes will crash, and pets confined to their homes will be helpless from hunger and thirst. All this will create a terrifying and first week. Electric plug food in homes and markets will have rotted. Since the electricity was cut off the day before, now all the food in the fridge and freezer will start to rot and smell bad. Things like meat and milk will be the first to spoil, and their smell will pollute the surrounding environment. This smell will attract rats, insects and wild animals. Rat condition of supermarkets. Packaged food kept on the shelves will still be there, but open items like fruits, vegetables and bread will have rotted. Insects, swarms of flies and rats will start roaming in supermarkets. Gradually, these places will become a source of food for wild animals. Dog-faced pets will be free. Dogs and cats locked inside the houses will try to get out after screaming with hunger. Some animals will starve to death, but those that survive will come out in search of food on the streets. Cats will hunt in small groups, and dogs will start roaming in packs. Due to hunger, these animals will also attack each other. Cityscape at dusk. City environment. With the end of human noise, cities will suddenly become deserted and scary. Only the barking of dogs and the chirping of birds will echo in the deserted streets. It will be dark at night because there will be no electricity. A strange silence and a scary atmosphere will be felt everywhere. Seedling. The beginning of turning into a forest. This process will be very early, but grass and small plants will start growing from the cracks in walls and roads. Within a few weeks, this greenery will start to take control of cities. Pushpin summary. In the first week, food will be spoiled, pets will be free and dangerous, markets will be smelly and dirty, and cities will become deserted and scary. Nature will slowly start to take over. 1 month later. Seedling. Nature's takeover begins. By now, plants and grass will have grown rapidly. Greenery will start growing from the cracks of roads, sidewalks and edges of bridges. In some places, bushes and vines will start climbing electricity poles and walls. Gradually, this greenery will start to dominate concrete and iron. Lion face zoo situation. By the first week, many animals will have died of hunger and thirst. But some powerful animals like lions, leopards, bears and elephants will slowly start breaking their cages. Some strong animals will come out when their cages break due to earthquakes or rust. These free animals will start roaming the streets of cities. The presence of groups of stray dogs and these wild animals will make cities extremely dangerous. Office building state of buildings. Due to lack of human maintenance, the system of high-rise buildings will fall into disrepair. Rainwater will cause cracks in roofs and walls. Windows will break in the strong wind and glass will shatter and scatter on the ground. Water pipes will burst due to the increasing pressure, which will cause water to fill the inside of buildings. Grass and plants will start growing on some flats and roofs, as if nature is taking over the concrete. Milky Way environment map. Cities will now look more like forests. Greenery will grow on deserted streets, and wild animals will roam free. Tall buildings will be crumbling, like an old haunted bungalow. The atmosphere will become even more eerie with humidity, stench, and sounds of collapsing buildings in the air. Pushpin summary: in the first month, nature will start to take over the cities, wild animals will be free, and buildings will slowly lose their original state. Tear off calendar 1 year later. Seedling complete takeover by nature. Man-made parks, gardens, and sidewalks are now turning into nature's forests. Vines and shrubs have climbed the walls of buildings. The once sparkling roads are now covered in moss and grass, with tree roots breaking through the asphalt in places. Cities that once sparkled with lights are now submerged in green darkness. Elephant animal rule. Without humans, wild animals have become the masters of cities. Wolves now roam in packs, and where there was once the noise of traffic, their howls echo in the air. Deer roam freely, birds have built nests on the roofs of tall buildings. Stray dogs and cats have learned to hunt in wild packs. Lions and bears, once confined in the zoos, now roam free and create a new fear in cities. Office building decline of buildings. The windows of tall buildings have been shattered by rain and storms. Wind and water have eaten away at iron, so bridges and towers have begun to shake. The roofs of many buildings have caved in, and wild plants have started to grow inside due to burst water pipes. Skyscrapers, which were a symbol of human power, are now slowly crumbling to the ground. Globe showing Europe-Africa changes in the environment. There is no more smoke or pollution in the atmosphere. The sky has become so clear that even in cities, galaxies and thousands of stars are visible, just like in a desert or a mountain. Rivers and lakes have become transparent, and the number of fish has increased. Birds have made new homes in these water bodies. Light bulb: this scene depicts a new era where life remains, but not humans, and nature has taken over the earth and brought it back to life. Tear off calendar 50 years later. Deciduous tree: the new face of cities. The city that was once filled with human noise, car horns, and lights has now become a dense jungle. Sidewalks, roads, and bridges are now buried under trees and bushes. Instead of tall buildings, there are now only broken concrete structures, overgrown with vines and wild plants. Cities that once sparkled with light are now in darkness and silence, where only the chirping of birds and the sounds of animals can be heard. Rhinoceros: the animal world. Animals that were once under the control of humans are now completely free and rule the cities. Elephants are roaming freely on the broken roads, their footsteps are spreading the greenery further. Lions and wolves have become the new kings of the cities in groups. Bears and other wild animals are now building nests and burrows in the ruins of human settlements. Life has also returned to the oceans. Whales and fish have grown fearlessly without human hunting, and the seas have become more fertile than ever. Globe showing Europe-Africa natural balance. Within 50 years, the Earth has begun to regain its original face. Where factories, cars and factories once emitted smoke, dense forests have now grown. Pollution has disappeared, the air and water are completely transparent. Birds, trees and animals are living in a new, natural balance, as if humans had never existed. Light bulb this time is like a rebirth for the earth. Traces of human civilization remain, but they are only in the form of structures and ruins. The real rule is now that of nature and animals. Tear off calendar 100 years later. No sign of man. After a century, human civilization has almost completely disappeared. The buildings that touched the sky have now turned into dust, only a few structures exist in the form of ruins. Bridges, roads and traces of houses have become level with the ground. The maps of cities are now difficult to recognize, green forests and trees have covered every corner. Pawprints the new owner of the earth. Now the earth is only the world of animals and birds. Whales, sharks and other sea creatures freely rule the oceans. The species of elephants, lions, wolves and birds on Earth have increased and their range is even wider than before. Every sign made by man, be it a statue, a building or a road, has been erased by nature. Globe showing Europe-Africa the return of the Earth. The Earth has become the same as it was thousands of years ago, when there was only natural beauty here. Forests, rivers, mountains and animals are everything. The sky is clear and transparent, the stars shine at night as if they had never been obscured by humans. The earth has regained its original, natural state, as if humans had never been here. Light bulb this time will be proof that humans were temporary for the earth, but nature will remain forever. In one day the light went out. In a week the cities were deserted. In a month nature began to take over. A year later the earth was free. And after 100 years all traces of humans were erased. The earth returned to its original state.